Hello viewers, welcome back to the HaloClanFollowers channel. My name is Devoutable Halo HD. Today we're going to be doing another episode of Community Talk, episode number 5. Today I am joined by Vanelli, Caesar, and Jordan. Today we're also going to be discussing the topics of the FCC and the CNCC war, Halo 5 raid maps, Halo 5 server problems, Halo 5 versus Halo Reach. So a lot about Halo 5, but before we begin, how are you all doing today?
Good.
Good.
Alright. So, before we begin, I'd like to say that if you guys are interested in any of these topics, you can look down in the description below. Check out what time these topics are going to begin. So, now that we're going to be talking about the FCC and the CNCC war. So, for anyone within the Halo Clan community that is not knowledgeable about the situation, basically the FCC and the CNCC war is basically involving a lot of clans within the Halo Clan community. For the FCC, it involved Exodus, Navcom, Apex Union, and Plague, of course. And for the CNCC war, there was multiple clans that I can't really name off the top of my head, but one of the main clans was Fotis and the BA clan. Now, currently this war is over because I believe the CNCC had like literally no one on each side. But I believe everybody here is knowledgeable about the events. So, Vanelli, we're going to start with you. What do you think about this whole war situation and how it started?
This was the war that was based on them losing their website or whatever.
Oh yeah. Just let me briefly explain that. I forgot that. So yeah, the war was triggered by Z4 Bros uploading, I believe, porn, or someone else uploaded porn to basically the Fotis clan leader's Facebook page, which basically got it entitled to be removed, in which the Fotis clan declared war on Plague, and Plague backed up, or basically ended up getting an alliance together to fight the Fotis clan, and then Fotis basically raised an army of like 30 clans that we honestly don't know who are. So yeah, I think Vanelli, you were there for one of the main meetings, so you know a little bit about the situation. So, what's your opinion on like the whole thing?
The entire thing was stupid. It's I know we talked about it last time, or I think it was the last time we had one of these, but the idea that you give someone permission to your website as like an admin or whatever, and they abuse that power. I mean, you gave them that permission. There was something beforehand that they had a little falling out, so from my personal point of view, I mean, it is what it is. Was it professional? No, but I mean, you can blame them, yes, but at the same time, you have to also blame yourself for not confirming what, you know, that you may not have known what they were going to do specifically, but I mean, you didn't even, like, screen it. You just gave them their access back without even, like, you know, screening what they could do or why they came back. So, I don't know. To me, it's just stupid.
Alright. Caesar, what do you have to say about this whole thing? Because I know you were around with your Aegis clan, I believe.
Yeah. For me being there when it all happened, me being in the party with Z4 Bros, even helping out a little bit of removing the people, I'm not going to give out who posted the porn or anything like that, but what I do know is I was just bored at the time. I didn't really think it was going to go as far as Ezra lying about calling the FBI and all that kind of stuff. I think we gave him more attention than what he really had. We just made him more popular, if you will. Personally, I don't like Ezra because he's a liar and stuff, but at the same time, I think what happened to his page was really uncalled for. One of the things I'm not really proud about, but I was just bored at the time. I really had nothing against Ezra. But I could definitely say Z4 took it with a lot of pride for whatever reason. But it was stupid, really uncalled for, petty. That's why I was going to be in the coalition initially, but then I talked to my main coalition, the Axis Powers, and we decided not to get involved.
Alright, so Jordan, do you have any knowledge about this whole situation that occurred?
Well, it's not as much knowledge, but as much as just a word of warning. To any clan leaders out there, you have to make sure you make the mistake of knowing who you give access to your websites to. You can't be mad about the fire in your house if you're the one who left the hot stove on. It's essentially a matter of you have to make sure that your property is secured. Now, I'm all for clan wars. I think clan wars are good for the community. They increase the population of both clans that are involved, and they get out good press. But at the same time, when you have it start for reasons such as stated earlier, when you have porn that's posted on the website, then it starts, you start crossing those gentle lines of what I call rules of engagement for conflict, and it deteriorates from the community.
All right. So I myself agree that basically, yes, this war is pretty much stupid. Like, the main initial cause, which was uploading porn and then declaring war on a clan over basically a porn being uploaded to a page, is just honestly stupid in my opinion. But anyways, we're also going to go more in depth with this topic because a lot of situations unfolded later on, such as the formation of the FCC and the CNCC. And I believe the FCC became first, or the name or the title became first, which involved a lot of clans, or well-known clans within the Halo clan community, such as Navcom, Exodus, Plague, and then we also had Apex Union and a few more clans that I can't list off the top of my head. Now, for the CNCC, Ezra, or as we'd say, Photocorn, I'm not sure how to say his name, basically ended up gathering a lot of clans on his side, but relatively many of these clans were small clans, or clans that had a bad reputation in the community, such as, well, I'm not sure if they had a bad rep, but like you had clans such as BA, and then I believe Leglink's UNSC clan was actually on, Ezra's side at the time as well. So we have a bunch of clans that are basically with that, and I believe the numbers eventually mounted to like 30 versus, we had 30 versus...
I think it was like 26 to like 5 or something like that.
Yeah. Alright, so we lost Finale, but we'll get him back in here. So yeah, pretty much we had clans like Navcom, Exodus, and pretty much Plague going up against all these small clans. So naturally, who would you guys think would win the war? Because I stated my opinion that pretty much the FCC was in an advantage.
Personally, I think the FCC, they would win just because of sheer numbers. I mean, you have these clans that, or this coalition, the CNCC or whatever it is. It's very unorganized leaders and all that kind of stuff, just highly unorganized. But I think a coalition more like the FCC, a coalition more focused on skilled clans and organized clans versus these clans that have maybe around 20 members, not really that skilled. Just, I think the FCC would just dominate the CNCC, which we did see that happen.
Alright, Vanelli, are you here now?
Yeah.
Alright, so what side do you think would win, like, if this war was ever, well, I guess this war is over now, but, like, if it actually ever, like, began?
Who would win?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a relative term. I mean, we'd have to see. I don't know specifically which one.
Sorry, let me reword it. Who would have an advantage?
Again, I don't know the specifics on each group, but I have to look at each group to understand who they are, what they're capable of, etc., for me to even make a decision on that.
Alright. Jordan, do you have an opinion on who you think might have an advantage?
As much as it's been stated earlier, a group can have numbers, but it's a matter of when it comes down to the raids and it comes down to just producing media. However, I will piggyback off of what was said earlier, and it's essentially the group who's the most organized and is always, proceeding to go about things in the most orderly fashion and can access their resources better is going to win. So with that being said, FCC wins. In my opinion, they have the greatest advantage in this. In my opinion.
All right. So as the war pretty much persuaded and went on, I believe the CNCC decided to drop a lot of clans that they believe would pretty much calculate for a lot of their war losses that would have occurred later on. Now, the actual time that the war was scheduled to begin was the release of Halo 5 Forge, and I believe only a few battles were fought between Exodus, Plague, and Fotis, and then Navcom joining in as well, until later on that Ezra decided to basically kind of cut connections with Z4 Bros by banning anyone that pretty much was, as he would classify, bullying him. Now, one thing that occurred as well is Ezra actually pulled, I would say, a leg link saying that he was going to report everybody to the FBI and whatnot, and he actually claimed that he reported everybody to the FBI for bullying him in the Halo Clan community. Now, there's multiple stories that Ezra has also came up with, and I don't know if they're true or not, by saying that he was apparently a victim of, I believe, human trafficking as well, and then pretty much how... I don't know how to get into depth with this, but Vinale, do you have an opinion on pretty much this whole thing between like him reporting the clans or people pretty much to the FBI for bullying or whatnot, harassment?
Yeah. I consider it a bluff. Or if he actually did, I'm pretty sure they just looked at him like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Like, to be honest, like that type of shit to me just ever since 2010 when they pulled the whole "I'm gonna hack you" or "I'm gonna report you to Microsoft," whatever, it falls on deaf ears with me because to me it's an empty threat.
All right, Caesar, do you have something you'd like to say about this?
He sent me private messages with paragraphs upon paragraphs saying that he was going to report me, and I just replied with #pray for Ezra, and then I just leave it at that.
All right, Jordan, what do you have to say about this whole FBI situation thing?
All right, I'm gonna say 3 words: full of shit. It's essentially how long have we been on Xbox and you've heard the constant phrase, "I'm gonna hack you, I'm gonna report you to the police, I'm gonna have my person from this location come and find you," and nothing happens. As far as I'm concerned, what grounds does he have to claim for reporting? And then even if, in a legal standpoint, when it comes to the whole harassment issue, harassment in a legal sense happens when you attempt to leave the situation and then you are then pursued. Whereas this seems like a consensual act of belligerent by both sides. So how the hell are you going to claim harassment?
Exactly. One thing too, I believe, is I'm not sure if I was talking to Vinale about this earlier or a while back, but we were talking about how pretty much like he was trying to recruit multiple people for his CNCC alliance, and I think Vinale, you were offered to be or he pretty much asked you to join his alliance as well, right?
Correct.
And then you said that you didn't really want to join an alliance with a guy that really didn't have a backbone or whatnot.
Not just that, when he first approached me, I knew photos from Halo 4, so I just agreed to it, saying, yeah. Then after I saw that clan meeting that we had with all those clans in there, and all he would do is complain and bitch, I immediately broke it off because, again, if someone's going to sit there and make a mistake, then cry victim, that's not someone I want to be aligned with.
Exactly. So currently, right now, the FCC and the CNCC war is no longer in play. I believe right now it's only a mini war between Plague and Fotis. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I believe right now Ezra actually has just cut connections to anyone that has he would classify bullying him or harassing him within the whole community as a whole. So right now, what do you guys think about this whole conflict that occurred? Was it really worth it? Was it worth all the drama? Or did it actually benefit, or did it just degrade the Halo Clan community? And we'll start with Finale.
I don't think it degraded the community at all. I think it just degraded himself. The actions of one person doesn't result in everybody else's opinion. Because he made the stupid mistake and made a wrong decision doesn't reflect on anybody else but himself. So.
Alright, Caesar?
I really can't say. I don't think it really declined or increased. I think it kind of united clans a little bit on Halo 5, kind of got the community to know each other a little bit and kind of setting some presence for clans in the future. I'm not really don't have too much of a comment on it. The whole thing with the Plague and Ezra War, I don't think the war's going to go anywhere. I think it's just going to die off, and neither side is just going to keep... One of them's going to forget about it. It's going to go nowhere.
Just like Navcom versus Exodus.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Alright, Jordan.
Alright. I want to imagine every Halo game as a stage. And the clan community puts on a performance. Now, when you have a war, that is the show. That is the first thing the public sees. How everyone that's not generally interested, or people who are interested in joining the community, see this. They see this war, so it always has to be a good one. This wasn't a war, and at least according to what I'm hearing here, this was bullshit. This wasn't something that draws people into the community. Did it degrade the community? No. But did it give a bad showing to anyone else who's going to sit down and be like, oh, hey, I want to join the military community, or was already a private or a recruit in one of these clans that were involved, and see this as saying, I wasted my time? That's what I'm scared of. So there's my answer.
All right. I'm pretty sure we could all pretty much say that this war was probably not needed and it was just stupid. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our next topic. So for our next topic, we're going to be talking about, let me just see what we got. We're going to be talking about Halo 5 raid maps. Now that pretty much Forge is released, and there hasn't really been much talk about pretty much how Forge has been, or not Forge, raids has been for pretty much Forge. Let's see. Who currently has a clan on Halo 5 Guardians? I know I do, I know Caesar does, and then Finale, you have pretty much your Spartan project, right?
Correct.
Alright, so Jordan, currently, are you within any clan or no?
No, I'm not with any clan on Halo 5 at the moment.
Alright, so you're just kind of an observer, right?
Yeah.
Alright, which is perfectly fine. So currently, who has developed any raid maps on Halo 5 that's in this call right now?
I have.
Alright. Vanilla, have you?
Nope.
Alright, and I have. So, currently, is there anyone that wants to... I think there was, like, actually... Sorry, I'm fucking up right now, but let me just, like, briefly explain. So, for raid maps on Halo 5 Guardians, I believe the only people that has participated in raids that are within this call right now are myself and Caesar. In fact, we have actually engaged each other in raids at one point.
Yep.
So, we could pretty much talk about this right now. For raids... How do you think it is compared to basically Halo Reach raids, or, yeah, we can only say Halo Reach since Halo MCC wasn't really great, and Halo 4 was similar to Halo Reach's Forge?
For me, other than a couple of the abilities, I feel on Alpine, I get a huge sense of Reach, if you will. I feel like it's actually quite similar to Reach in... like with the rushes, and it just feels a lot like Reach in the sense. But at the same time, we're seeing a lot of new, unique maps that feel like something I've never seen before on Halo 4, MCC, any game, in fact. Like, it's really, really new, and I really like the raids in this game. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. They're just really unique, or they can feel like Reach. I've yet to feel a Halo 4 type of raid.
Alright, so, Vanelli, I believe you've been playing around with Forge on Halo 5 as well, right?
Correct.
What do you think about the features and whatnot, and things that could be added for raid maps, or...
Way better than Reach, that's for sure.
Alright, is there any
I can
features
second
that you
that.
enjoy?
What, Bible?
Is there any features that you enjoy?
I think that we all enjoy the ability to move objects and manipulate objects. That's something that we probably really wanted from Reach. That I think now that we have this ability, that I think it really just adds more of what we can do, like extending bridges, turning off switches. We can set more different traps or whatever if you want to do that, or you can change the gameplay with just a button, and now you can make destructible environment too, which is something that we also didn't have in Reach. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can do with this, and it's just a matter of just exploring it and adding it and just making it popular, I guess.
Alright. Jordan, have you heard much about Halo 5's Forge?
Yeah, I've heard plenty about it.
Alright, do you want to pretty much talk about what you know about it so far and what you like?
What I like about it is that, in comparison to Reach, and this is what we expected from Next Gen. When we got Halo 4, a lot of us were expecting, this big palette to create a world on it, and we didn't get that. We were disappointed. And then when 343 didn't release Forge at the beginning of Halo 5, a lot of us were still disappointed as well. I bet most of y'all can agree with that. But as we got Forge, it was worth the wait. And I feel sorry for the people who put down the game because they didn't get Forge originally. I didn't have chances to look at raid maps, etc., etc. But from one of the custom game matches I've seen, the amount of things that you can do in comparison to Halo Reach, Halo 3, it says Halo 4 is so out of this world that it's remarkable.
Alright, so for as it stands right now, it currently has been only me and Caesar that have been participating in raids. Now, as we were talking about, Halo 5 Forge is pretty much amazing and whatnot. I believe one of the main concerns that a lot of people pretty much were talking about when Halo 5 Forge first came out was pretty much the tools, and it was difficult to kind of like get to know Forge. So, do any of you guys agree with this statement that it's pretty much hard to Forge in Halo 5?
It's personally, like, when I first started forging, it was difficult adjusting because I kept hitting the wrong buttons, because relative to what we experienced from Reach and 4, the controls were very similar. And going to Halo 5, obviously the controls were completely different. But once you, like, get used to the controls and stuff, I'm not going to say it's more efficient, but the interface and how it's set up kind of does add a little more just ability to it.
Alright. Caesar. Is he here?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, I think, I give it about a day, and then I think you'll be good with the Forge. From what I've seen, it's harder the Forge for people who haven't really experienced Forge, if you will. If you're like coming new to Halo 5, you might have a harder time than someone who was been on other games, because you kind of already have a basic knowledge of the mechanics, but it's a whole bunch of new stuff. Personally, for me, I'm used to it. It took me about a day or two, or maybe even a week, if you will, to get like fully used to it, like knowing the controls, like not even have to think about it. But someone that's new or just got Halo 5, not playing any other games, might have more trouble with it.
Alright. Jordan, you've kind of only seen like what's going on with Forge. Have you heard about being the main problems with it, or people saying that they can't adjust, or it's just hard?
Well, from what you saw when developers first put out the video game, it was just pretty much you knew it was going to be difficult once you saw it from the first hand. If developers were having issues putting together bases and maps and creating environments with shaders and etc., we knew there was going to be a learning curve. So I've heard things about how difficult it is. It's just a matter of, like everything else in any other game, there's a learning curve, and as time goes by, we'll master it.
Alright. So, one thing about Halo 5 Forge, or Halo 5 Raids, since this is kind of like the main topic, Halo 5 Raids, is people have been having problems with, or I guess, like, kind of like, people that are attacking in raids have been having problems, since there's really, like, no ground rules or official rules set up, or this is kind of like the first time people are actually testing out raids in Halo 5. Because I know certain weapons are pretty much OP within the game, right? And certain vehicles are pretty much OP within the game. I know I've done raids with Advent, I've done raids with Plague, I've done raids with the Aegis clan as well. And pretty much we've all pretty much experienced what weapons were OP and which weapons weren't. So we're gonna move on to Caesar right now. So what weapons and what stuff do you think are OP and kind of have to be, or rules have to be kind of put in place for stuff like this? Caesar? Okay, I don't think Caesar's here, but Benelli,
Okay.
do you kind of have something?
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is your opinion, or what do you think the community's opinion is about BA on Halo 4?
Halo 4.
Yeah.
I guess when they were on Halo 4, I think it was all about like the DDoSing.
Okay. What is your opinion on the UN in its prime? What did they do for the raids?
I believe it was just kind of like, it was an OP base, wasn't it?
Yeah, they sat behind the base. Same thing with UUF. They sat behind the base with all the power weapons and shot everybody until they quit or whatever and declared it a victory, user media, etc. It's the same concept here. You can, if you're going to put those OP weapons in the base or do whatever, just understand that, I mean, I don't think that there should be rules to do that or to challenge that. I just understand that this reflects your clan. You want to go ahead and do this, that's your freedom, but at the same time, you're making your clan look bad. If you don't have the ability to do things, perhaps in a different way, in a more strategic, tactical way, then that's fine. But again, just realize that this is defining your clan, that everybody else is going to look back at you. The UN is remembered for their OP bases and their media. The BA and Halo 4 was remembered for their DDoSing. Leyland had that same reputation. No one wanted to be around those people. Then right now we have Fotis, who's basically crying. He can do that, that's fine, but at the same time, this is his legacy right now. This is what people are remembering him by. So at the same time, if you want to have these OP weapons and you don't want to balance it out, that's fine, that's your choice. But again, just remember that that legacy is going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinion.
Alright, Bionic, are you back yet? Or Caesar? Okay, I don't believe he's back. Jordan, what are your opinions?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. You ready to listen? Hello?
Sure.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so back when I was in the UUF, yes, I was a member of the UUF. I was a general. I remember me, my name was JMonkeyBeast96. Led the Army for quite a bit of time. There were times back on Halo 4 with Strike where you had bases where it was impossible to get a raid win because simply the materials you had in the base were too supreme. It got to the point where when we went back to Halo Reach in 2014, 2013, I preferred to use HQ battles because I wanted to make sure that the respect my men got, that, you know, the people that were in my division were that we were good soldiers and not that our base was superior. And so when it comes to raid rules, I agree with what was said earlier. When you have an OP base, or when you have a base that can be easily taken over, and it's even, and it makes people say, no, it's not the base, it's not the forger who made the team good, it's the soldiers who occupy the base that make them good. It's your legacy, as has been said earlier. Now, as far as raid rules are concerned, keep it simple. We know that when it comes to, at the end of Halo Reach, or at least when the military clan is today, with the scripturing that came along, you saw that there was a lot of OP weapons, excessively OP weapons that became available. And the same thing is going to happen here. You have to make sure that in the case of Halo 5, the raid rules are simply just to keep the game fair and to give the offense a fair shot at taking the base as much as the defense has a fair shot of holding it.
Alright. Personally, for what I want to talk about for Halo 5 when it comes to certain stuff, there has been stuff that have been proven to be OP, such as the Banshee and the Phaeton. Now, one thing that I believe the UNR had on Halo MCC was a rules of engagements, which is basically their raid rules and what they what they wanted people to follow when they were doing raids. Do you guys?
That's not a new idea. That's been around since I first started here.
All right, I think UN had it as well, but theirs wasn't
Yeah,
really for
I mean,
raids.
a lot of clans back then had it.
Alright, I believe. Alright then. I guess one thing that I just want to say is like raid rules in total. Was there really any official raid rules or any rules that a lot of people used back in Halo 5? Or not Halo 5, Halo Reach?
A lot of times back then is if you declared war on one clan, you usually follow those rules, or sometimes you'd get together with the parties and then you would discuss those raid rules. Personally, that's how it should be. If two clans want to fight, by all means go for it, but at the same time, if you want to discuss raid rules and be professional about it, then do it. You know, that would be the only thing that I would recommend. I wouldn't just sit there and just go fight one another, because then that's just going to cause chaos and people have different perceptions and culture, etc. So the idea, personally, what I would just recommend is that if you're going to do this, have these raid rules, get together, discuss it, maybe have a third party who's neutral that both people can agree on to just kind of moderate and take notes, so that when something does happen, if there's like a quote-unquote rule violated, that third party can vouch for what was written down.
Alright.
Yeah, definitely. What I have to say, as far as people following rules, I think even up till today, clans kind of understand the neutrality with a surprise attack, and the only rules that apply is no end in the game, no kicking, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's literally the only rules. I think every clan can follow that, and and no teams, but yeah, I think every clan follows that. I can't name a clan that doesn't. And that just goes as far as practice raids. No clan normally adds to that rule, and no one normally takes away from that rule.
All right. Jordan, for raid rules?
Pretty much everything that's been said earlier. No kicking, no hacking, and no ending the game. What's the funny thing about raids is that multiple times what you're going to end up happening is that raids aren't, they're I say it's 50-50, at least from my experience, where you have 50% of the time where it's a coordinated raid, and you have 50% of the time where a clan's in training, or they're staying on a base, and then they're raided. And when it comes to those types of times, then you have to literally sit down and hammer out some rules. It's difficult to say for every single clan that exists, because we all know there are thousands upon thousands of them that you can find, whether they be 1 member to 50, 100 members that have different rules of engagement. But it's essentially just, for the uncoordinated raids, you have to realize that I don't think it should be counted as a raid loss if you have 2 people in the base and then your whole base gets raided because you weren't ready. I just think that raids should be coordinated to where if you're going to set up a system of rules that both parties are consensual to it and everyone can agree, and then fight it out to whatever length that you wish.
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry, my mic was muted and I was talking for no reason. Alright, so let me, I just want to weigh in on pretty much what Jordan was saying. Pretty much what happened is, with my clan, the UNE, we were on a practice map a couple days ago, or at least a week ago, I don't know. And we had about 14 people within our practice map because we were doing, I think, training or whatnot. And 2 people decided to join the game. One of them was Youngling from the special, or Spec Warcom, run by Auto, SII, whatever his gamertag is. And another person was, I believe, the real TR, which is from your clan. Now, when he joined the game, obviously we were keeping him at spawn, so that way he couldn't interfere with training. But later on, he messaged me saying that this is a raid and we've just lost, and that the win was claimed by the Aegis clan. So
yeah, don't worry about that.
So that's one concern, or one thing that I can understand what Jordan is saying. Does anyone want to weigh in on the topic of like stupid stuff like that happening?
I mean, personally, again, it comes down to people in this community. If you go to another community, let's say like something more extreme like Star Citizen or Arma, the culture there is completely fucking different. They would sit there and laugh at what we have here as a community because of the stupid fucking people in it. So again, it just comes down to each individual. You can't control that, but you can talk to the leader and work out. With some leaders you can work out some rational decision, but when you have people who are just not rational, who are just more arrogant than anything, personally, I just ignore it. I mean, if they're not going to see reason, I'm not saying they have to agree with you, but just see reason, then ignore it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure,
and don't worry about that. We talked to him that day.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the same thing is pretty much a problem with one clan that we know as, I believe, the UFF, or Wolverines clan. I'm not sure what it is called. I don't care.
The URR?
Yeah, the URR. I don't really care. So pretty much people like that, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to be moving on to our next topic. So does anyone want to briefly have a last statement for pretty much Halo 5 raid maps? No?
Nope.
Alright, so our next topic that we're going to be talking about is Halo 5 server problems. Now, naturally, Halo 5 should have some problems, and I believe some people might have encountered some problems on Halo 5. Personally, for me, it's been the whole raid problem in total when we've tried to get people to get a full lobby, and then pretty much when you start the custom games, or you can't even actually load up a custom game or load up an actual game mode. I'm not sure if any of you guys have experienced this problem.
Yeah, I have.
And then there's also the problem of Halo 5 just not being one day Halo 5 won't be working at all. Like a couple days ago, I believe Xbox was having a problem or something. But then I know on one of my videos that I was talking about on my channel, Dividable Halo HD, there was literally a day where Halo 5 was just complete shit, and you couldn't even like get a lobby together at one point. So, Benally, do you want to share your experience with a problem? Server problems, exactly. If Benally's here.
Sure, it happens. I mean, Reach wasn't perfect either. I mean, there's problems on Bearable sometimes. But yeah, like you go in there and you wouldn't have any of your armor, you wouldn't have anything, and sometimes your maps would just be like they wouldn't load or they take forever to load. I mean, we had problems on Reach too. The idea that Reach is this all shining gold stone really is a fabrication. It had problems. So Halo 5 may have some different problems, but at the same time, it's a different game and it's a different style. I mean, personally, it's if you prefer to have the issues that were on Reach, then you know there's your personal opinion. But personally, to me, yeah, sure you have problems. I guess the main thing is that right now 343 will work on fixing those problems because this is their current game. Problems on Reach now, I don't know if there's any issues now, but if there are, besides backwards compatibility, like I'm talking about the 360 Reach, they're probably not even going to touch it because again, it's done. They're moving on, just like everybody else. So,
all right, Caesar.
Oh yeah, it just only had a couple minor issues with connection, such as a couple of our guys would lag out of the game, but would get sent back to our lobby, but then they would lag back into the game. Silly stuff like that. There's been going back to like Reach times where you normally go on the map alone, then invite the enemy team. From what I've seen, you can't do that anymore due to like mass joining or something like that. I don't know. It seems like if you start with 8 people in the game, it only allows maybe up to 10 if you're lucky. But if you start with 16, from there you only can have 15 in a game. Only a couple times have we been able to fill spots with our own members, all the way up to 15. But we have never been able, like, it seems like the 16th spot is, like, glitched. It's, like, it shows that there's only 15 in the game, but for some reason the game tells us, like, it's filled, and it won't let other people join. So, what I've seen is when you want to do raids with another clan, you have to go back to the MCC rule, where the team has to wait at spawn, and then once the message gets sent, the timer starts, and the team starts attacking. So just stuff like that, not really too bad, but it seems like 343, they can make amazing games, but small stuff like that is what really can judge the entirety of the game. And I don't think this is a huge problem. It might be fixed with the Infinity's Armory update. Hopefully it does. Just gotta stay tuned for that, and then hopefully that can fix all the connection. But just stuff like that has been occurring.
All right, Jordan, have you heard much about this whole server or pretty much connection problems?
Yeah, man. I mean, I played Halo 5 when it first came out. I didn't own an Xbox One at the time, mainly due to investment concerns. But when I played it when it first came out, it had server issues. When Halo 4 first came out, it had some relative server issues. When you had Halo Reach that first came out, it had server issues. It's going to get worked on. Now, 343 isn't like Bungie, because Bungie used to jump. They were on top of it when it came to a server problem. Whereas in 343, because of all the things they have going on, it's kind of like they have a lagged response to it. However, I mean, again, it's early in the Halo community. My problem is like, if we have server problems next year around this time, then we need to bitch and complain. If we have problems coming in 3 or 4 months from now, we need to complain. You're over here trying to add new maps and do X, Y, and Z, but if we can't even have 16-man games, we have a problem. And so, for right now, all I can say about the server issue is that everybody kind of just hold your water and deal with it. New games have bugs, but it needs to stop soon enough.
All right. So pretty much, I think that's. Does anyone want to pretty much talk more about the Halo 5 server problems? I know it was a really short topic, and we kind of expressed our feelings with it in the beginning. So, anyone got anything to say? Yes or no?
Nope.
All right.
Mm-mm.
So this last topic is probably going to be one of our longest topics or so, and that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about is Halo 5 versus Halo Reach, because that's kind of been something that has been growing since November of 2014, where people were pretty much saying that Reach is better than Halo 5, and now that Halo 5 Forge is out, what do you guys think? Or what do you guys think is honestly the situation for the clan community, like people on Reach and people on Halo 5?
I think we just need to connect a little bit, if you will. We need to get it so how it was on Reach or Halo 4. We need to spark the community. Like, we have our bonfire, but it's not lit yet. You know, it's like we need things to start connecting. We need to start connecting the dots. We need to get our community in shape and start doing wars. Make the wars seem more important than what they are, even silly conflicts. We need to make it feel as if it's like community threatening. You know, we need that kind of stuff coming around. We need the people to notice us a little bit more. Get some of the Reach clans over here. Even people like Ark, you know, we need to get him over here so he could start causing shit with clans and, you know, just stuff like that. We need to start connecting the dots. So, yeah.
Alright. One thing, too, is we had Commando Ark on Halo Reach pretty much saying that he's dominating the Halo clan community, and pretty much saying that he's beating a lot of clans on Halo Reach. Now, one thing, too, is he's also been claiming that Halo 5 is complete trash, and pretty much, like, every clan is suffering on Halo 5. What do you guys think about that? We'll start with Vinale.
I think that's complete fabrication, and I guess, like, for that clans are suffering on Halo 5 is not true. I think clans are doing a lot better on Halo 5 than they are on Reach, because from what I've heard from Reach, and this is just rumors at least, there's not a lot of recruiting people that you can recruit anymore, because most people on Reach have either been in a clan, avoid clans and all, and they're not getting new people. You gotta think the game is like, what, 6 years old?
Yeah.
The chances of finding someone new are very slim. Finding someone for Halo 5 with going on the Halo Waypoint forums, and finding a Spartan company, you can do that. You can message people on Xbox. You can make YouTube videos. There's more options here than it is on Reach, because on Reach you just make a YouTube video or find someone in matchmaking. The chances of actually finding someone new are slim. Now, beating people on Reach now is completely useless, because a lot of the clans that are big are no longer on Reach. So if you're fighting broken up groups or fragmented clans, that's not impressive at all. Go ahead and try to apply that to now on Halo 5. I guarantee you're not going to get the same results. I guarantee it. And whether or not people like Reach over Halo 5, that's their personal opinion. And me or anyone else that tries to enforce that opinion is going to get laughed at. So it's all relative to their own personal, doings, whatever they personally like.
All right. One thing, too, is we're going to be basically kind of go into what were the problems that people were saying that Halo Reach is better. I'm going to basically list off what everybody's been saying. One of the big things was the emblem structures. Another thing was, I believe, no Forge at the time, but now that we have Forge. I can't remember the last topic, but I'll bring it up when you guys continue. But Caesar or Jordan, what do you guys think about this whole problem with emblems, or people saying emblems?
People can adjust. I think Age is kind of lucked out with it. I think a better concern or something for people to worry about is the color palette for the emblems and armor in general. I think the emblems are fine. I think there's an S2 emblem for the S2s. There's an ODST emblem for the ODSTs. There's an emblem for every clan out there, I think all the emblems can represent some form of clan, from Star Wars to Warhammer. There's definitely something for everyone. Our clan uses the Navy one. I think we lucked out with the color palette, everything like that. So I really have no concerns, so I really can't speak for them. But I think a more concern is the color palette than the emblem themselves.
Alright, Vanelli, I believe you guys have a special emblem as well that you guys use?
Yeah, I mean, we use the blue team emblem that you get at SR90, and that's one of our requirements. What Bionic said about, or Caesar said about the kind of like the Destiny shader system that they have going on for the colors. Yeah, I can completely disagree with that. The emblem style itself, I'm for. I mean, when last time we had this prior to Forge coming out, I said this gives a perfect opportunity for clans to kind of bond and work together towards an emblem as a group, not just being fat and lazy and just getting everything that they want. I'm okay with working for everything. I don't mind that. It just kind of gives me more of a feel that I'm earning everything that I'm getting. I'm not just like, okay, I'm going to put my character how I want him to look, but I'm not going to change this at all to the entirety of the game. I mean, that's just kind of me. That's I don't like that. I like to earn a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then again with the color palette, I think like in custom games or in Forge, we have like a lot of stuff we can customize, and I really like that. But what I'm really disappointed on is the fact that the colors for like the Spartan does not, have that same customization. And I know, Joseph, you and I have talked about this before, that in the event that something affects a Spartan group or a Spartan thing, like, for example, we don't have Sage anymore. Mm-hmm. I told you we'd adapt. That's exactly what we did, is just adapt to it. We didn't just sit there and bitch. I mean, yeah, does it suck? Yes, it sucks, but are we going to sit there and let that hold back what I envisioned for this group? No, not at all. We're just going to keep pushing and adapt to it.
Yeah. Now, basically what I want to say for the emblem thing for my clan personally is we have pretty much, I believe, 3 emblems that we use in total. We use the Not emblem, which is pretty much a default emblem that you get at Halo 5 for anybody that is unable to pretty much get a certain emblem that we like to get through accommodations. Now, one of our main emblems for the main recruits are pretty much the Fireborn emblem, and pretty much if you want to get past E1 or pretty much the first rank, you need to obtain the Fireborn emblem. Now, for the command position, we have pretty much the Scorpion Destroyer accommodation, which is, I believe, the Corbulo of Military Science emblem that we use for anyone that's within our command. So, pretty much what I'm trying to say is, like, yes, it is hard to get a certain emblem, but once again, it's kind of like a goal. If you want to get past like this certain rank, or you want to kind of like achieve this rank, you need to work towards it, like Benelli was saying. So, I believe we skipped over you, Jordan. Do you have anything you want to say about emblems, or pretty much the proms?
I mean, I can't comment simply because I haven't played Halo 5 and haven't been integrated into the Halo, the specifics of like emblems and armor, etc., etc., etc. But you adapt. If you want something bad enough in the community, you'll adapt and you'll find a way. I'm pretty sure that if there's enough sustainable emblems for you to discern your guys from the other people's guys, then it's enough. And if you found enough ways to splay out divisions or divide people into, various groups within your clan, it's enough. Now, I understand with the whole rack system that it's hard for you to reach certain pieces of armor or, certain complicated pieces of armor that you may like. However, nothing's perfect, and so what I say is, as far as I'm concerned, if you just manage to adapt, if you really care about your clan that much, you'll find a way, and that's it.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah, I finally remembered what was the last thing that we were going to talk about. But one of the big things that was kind of involved with Halo Reach versus Halo 5 was pretty much at the time no Forge and no backwards compatibility. Now that we have them both, I think it's safe to say that Halo 5 Forge is amazing, and it's pretty much good for clans and raids and whatnot. Now, For Halo Reach's backwards compatibility, we obviously know that there are problems. So, pretty much, I believe one of the main problems is pretty much the frame rates when it comes to playing the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. I believe it generates at least 20 frames per second, if not less. So, do you guys believe this is probably one of the main concerns for any clans that are on Halo Reach or wanting to basically boost any activity on Halo Reach for backwards compatibility? We'll start with Benelli.
Personally, I don't have any play Reach. I mean, I don't have any intentions of going back there besides maybe shooting a couple videos, but overall I have no intention of actually returning there with a group or whatever. So Ridge could sit there and burn for the rest of time for all I cared.
All right, Caesar.
What's the question again?
Pretty much the backwards compatibility. Do you think, like, with the frame rates dropped and everything, it's suffering for? It's pretty much clans that are like on Halo Reach are suffering because of it.
Let them suffer, get them over here faster. I mean, I have no intentions of going back to Reach either, like Vanelli said. I don't really want them to improve it, because then it'll force clans to go back there. I want them to come over here more than anything.
All right, and Jordan, do you have any different opinion or kind of the same?
Pretty much, you get it. It's an old game. We all know that. And yes, Halo Reach was great for clans, and it provided us with some of our best memories. However, the thing is, as the game gets older, no matter how much backwards compatibility you have, the traffic is going to decrease as Halo 5 gets better. You can't help that. I'm pretty sure there's people like that. If I compared it to another game, let's say Call of Duty. People may hate Black Ops 3, but if you added backwards compatibility for Black Ops 1, it still doesn't matter how much nostalgia you have towards the original, or, the Firestarter, quote unquote. The new edition is always going to get the original traffic. It's going to see the newest members. It's going to see the newest recruits for things. So why stay in the past? And with that, that's really all I have to say on the issue.
All right. So I believe that is it for kind of the end of this topic. Last thing I'm going to ask each and one of you guys is Halo 5 versus Halo Reach. Which is better for clans? Vernali.
That's obvious, Halo 5.
All right, Caesar.
Halo 5.
And Jordan?
5, easy.
All right, so we're all in agreement that Halo 5 is better for clans. So does anyone pretty much want to have any last opinions or last things that they want to say on the topic, or we all good?
No, I'm good.
All right, so that is kind of it that we have for our topics on the HaloClanFollowers Community Talk Podcast, episode number 5. I'd like to thank you, Vanelli, for joining us, you, Caesar, for joining us, and thank you, Jordan, for joining us.
Yep, no problem.
If you guys have anything that you want to discuss or talk about, leave it down in the comments below. I'll read it, and I'm not sure if any of you guys will read it. I'm pretty sure you guys might. Yep. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you for joining us on episode number 5 of Community Talk on the HaloClanFollowers channel for the podcast. The series will now be every month due to pretty much the lack of topics that we do, or the lack of topics that are around for it to be done every week. It's kind of safe to say that it's better to do every month. So yeah, for all you viewers out there, it's going to be every month now. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.
Take care.